Welcome back, dear listeners, to another spine-chilling episode of Shell's Spooky Stories. I'm your host, Shell, and tonight we explore the terrifying tale of an innocent trip to a second-hand shop that brought something far more sinister than anyone could have imagined. So dim the lights, settle in, and prepare yourself for the Book of Shadows. It all started when Lucy wandered into a small, dusty second-hand shop on a quiet street corner. The kind of place you wouldn't notice unless you were really looking. She was browsing through the shelves, searching for nothing in particular, when she stumbled upon an old, leather-bound book. The cover was worn, the spine cracked, and the pages yellowed with age, but something about it drew her in. The title, The Book of Shadows, was embossed in faded gold lettering, but there was no author, no publisher, just the mysterious title. Lucy flipped through the pages, noticing they were filled with strange symbols, handwritten notes, and sketches of odd rituals. Despite the eerie contents, she couldn't shake the feeling that the book had been waiting for her. Lucy, whispering to herself, "I have to have this." She paid the shopkeeper, a strange man who barely looked her in the eye, and took the book home, eager to delve into its contents. That night, as she sat by the fire, she began reading through the cryptic text. The language was unfamiliar, but the deeper she read, the more it began to make sense, as though the book was speaking directly to her. As Lucy read, strange things started happening around the house. The lights would flicker, shadows would dart at the edges of her vision, and she heard faint whispers when no one was around. At first she convinced herself it was all in her head, just the effects of reading late into the night. But then the dreams began. Every night Lucy dreamed of a dark forest, its trees twisted and gnarled, their branches reaching out like skeletal hands. In the centre of the forest was a stone altar, and on the altar was the book. In her dreams she felt a powerful urge to open it, but every time she did, a sense of overwhelming dread washed over her, as if something unspeakable was about to be unleashed. Lucy, to herself, trembling. It's just a dream, isn't it? But it wasn't just a dream. One evening, after weeks of strange occurrences, Lucy awoke in the middle of the night to find the book open on her nightstand, despite having locked it away in a drawer before bed. The pages fluttered as though blown by a breeze, but the air was still. A cold chill ran down her spine as she realised the book was no longer inanimate. It was alive, and it wanted something from her. Lucy tried to rid herself of the book. She took it back to the shop, but the door was locked, and the shop appeared abandoned, as though it hadn't been open for years. She tried burning it, but the flames would not touch the pages. No matter what she did, the book always returned, appearing back in her home, as if it had never left. Desperate, she reached out to a local historian, Dr. Miller, who specialised in occult artefacts. When Lucy showed him the book, his face grew pale, and he quickly recoiled. Dr. Miller gravely, This is no ordinary book. It's a grimoire, an ancient text used to summon and bind spirits. Whoever owned this before, they weren't just reading it, they were using it. Dr. Miller explained that the symbols and rituals were meant to communicate with dark forces, and by reading the book, Lucy had unknowingly awakened those forces. The book was a doorway, and now something had crossed over. Lucy's house became a prison. The whispers grew louder, the shadows more oppressive. At night she could feel the presence of something watching her, something malevolent, lurking just beyond the light. Her reflection in the mirror would sometimes shift, her eyes turning dark and hollow, her mouth curling into a sinister grin that wasn't her own. In a final attempt to free herself from the book's grip, Lucy and Dr. Miller performed a ritual to close the doorway and banish the spirits tied to the grimoire. The room shook, objects flew off the shelves, and a dark, oppressive force seemed to push against them as they chanted the words of the ancient rite. But as the ritual reached its climax, Lucy felt a sharp, cold hand grip her shoulder. She screamed as a shadowy figure appeared behind her, its face contorted in rage. The book flew open on the table, its pages flipping violently, revealing one final inscription: "She is ours now." The ritual failed. Lucy was found the next morning by Dr. Miller, her mind shattered and her body cold. She was never the same again, and to this day she resides in a psychiatric ward, her eyes dark and empty, muttering the words of the book under her breath. As for the book, it disappeared. Dr. Miller searched the house, but it was gone, as if it had never existed. But sometimes on quiet nights, when the air is still, you can hear the faint sound of pages turning, as if the book is out there waiting for its next reader. So, dear listeners, the next time you find yourself in a second-hand shop, be careful what you pick up. Some things are best left untouched, for you never know what might come along with them. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's chilling tale, but the hauntings don't have to end here. If you love ghost stories and crave even more spine-tingling content, why not unlock the other side? Join our exclusive membership for bonus episodes, behind-the-scenes extras and much more. The link is waiting for you in the description below. And do you have a story of your own? Something that keeps you up at night? Share your experience through the links in the description. You might just hear your own story being featured on upcoming episodes. And before you go, don't forget to like this video, share it with your fellow ghost story lovers, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a shadow in the dark. Stay spooky, and we'll see you on the other side.